Begin recording and streaming, and I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, do you know if the individuals being sworn in? I'm sorry, we're just voting, they're not being sworn in. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, today's date is January the 21st, 2026. The time is now 8:01 p.m. Welcome to the town meeting for the mayor and council of the town of Forest Heights, Maryland. This meeting will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hines. Councilmember Kennedy.
Here.
Councilmember Brownson.
Here.
Councilmember Little. Council President Noble. Forgive me, Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Council President McDonald. Council President Noble. Mayor Lilly.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we'll have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I ask that everyone who is able will join us in standing at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next, we will have meeting minutes for January the 5th, 2026. These minutes were distributed in advance via email. Are there any changes or additions to the January 5th minutes? Okay, hearing none, the meeting minutes are approved and accepted as they appear in the agenda. Next, we will have approval of the main agenda. And I move that we amend the agenda to add in a presentation from Greenwell Consulting directly after approval of the main agenda and before council member and mayor reports. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we amend tonight's agenda, adding a presentation from the Greenwell Consulting Group after the main agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The agenda is amended. I move that we approve tonight's agenda as amended.
Need a second?
Yes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's agenda as amended. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the amended agenda is adopted. Next, we'll have a presentation from the Greenwell Consulting Group. Good evening. And if you could just make sure that green light is on so the folks at home and online can hear you as well.
Hello. So Mayor, Greenwell Consulting, Jonathan Carpenter, Ms. Leslie Felice. I just want to give a quick update for the start of session. I'll let Leslie start and share where we're at with a general update. Then I'll talk about some of the pieces of priority legislation.
Good evening. It's very nice to see you all today. Just providing a few updates of what we're seeing so far in these first 2 weeks of session. As you can imagine, number one topic in Annapolis is the budget. This is the second year in a row where they're coming into some fiscal constraints. We've seen the budget shortfall increase to a projected $1.5 billion. So they're definitely going to have another year of tough decision making. We're seeing across leadership that they are going to focus on not increasing taxes, which is great. And if they do pass the budget without doing so, it'll be great. But we're also going to have to keep an eye on what they cut. There's going to be a number of programs cut this year, and a lot is going to be based on the state agency reports that have came out. A number have came out in the past year showing that a lot of programs aren't being successfully ran as the state would like. There's a lot of scrutiny coming down on these agencies. So we're going to see leadership in the governor's office, the House, and the Senate taking a look closely at these programs. So it's going to be important for our team to look at that, because if these programs have a negative effect on you all, we want to make sure you know ahead of time so we can talk to the right people, whoever it is, whether it's the budget committees or your local delegation members. So that is going to be the thing that I would alert you all to keep an eye on, is just programming. We don't anticipate them creating new programs. They're going to be looking at capital projects very closely, making sure that it aligns with state priorities. And those typically tend to be economic development, revitalization, and public safety. So if they align with that, we can foresee them being kept. But again, everything's up in the air right now. We're not very sure what programs they're looking to cut. The governor just released his budget today. Today was the deadline. So we're still looking through that to get an idea of what exactly he was looking at. But now that's going to head over to the Senate. They have the budget first this year. So we'll be seeing a number of amendments come in before it goes over to the House. Leadership is stating that they are looking to take on a more collaborative approach between the House and the Senate. So this is going to be the first year where we see House and Senate leadership meeting on a weekly basis to discuss the budget. This is in hopes of being able to tackle any opposition or debates that we typically see in March when that budget deadline is coming up. But again, this is the first year, so we'll see if that really does help. Hopefully it does. But it's definitely going to be another tough year for the budget. As the bills have been coming in, we've seen about 700 introduced thus far, and other key themes include public safety, local authority. We're seeing bills regarding housing and affordability, which is a really big topic for Governor Moore. Also bills regarding energy, infrastructure. Across the state, we're seeing a number of residents facing high utility bills. So they are taking a look at the current structure in the state and examining if there's anything that can be changed to alleviate that. Data centers also a big topic. Data protections, and lastly, education funding reform is a big one. So the blueprint, I think you all are pretty familiar with it. It's an initiative that the state has supported for a number of years, but it is, there have been some funding issues with it, not only at the state, but also at county levels. So we have seen a few bills introduced looking to take a closer eye at that formula to see if anything can be changed. So those are the main areas we're seeing so far that the state is focusing on. But as we see more and more bills introduced, we'll get a better idea if there's anything else to alert you on. So we just ask that you just take a look at those emails we sent out, and we'll make sure to highlight anything specific that we think you all should support, oppose, or just take a look at. Other than that, just some important deadlines. This week, January 23rd, is the bill request guarantee deadline. So that just means that any bills introduced by January 23rd will be guaranteed a hearing and introduction. But if a bill is not introduced by then, it's not too much of a concern, because we still have February 9th and February 13th, which are the Senate and House deadlines. Not too far away, though, so definitely something to put on our calendars if there is a bill we're introducing. But I'll turn it over to Jonathan. He'll speak a bit more on what we're working on for the town.
Thank you, Leslie. As Leslie said, with this budget, as we all know from the last couple of sessions, it's all about the deficit. The governor has said no new taxes. So that's has a lot of people thinking, well, how are you going to get it done? And I wanted to emphasize this mandate that the local communities, the local counties, and even Baltimore, Montgomery County are saying that the blueprint causes a unfunded mandate on the counties, and that puts stresses on their budgets. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. What are they going to do with the blueprint funding? That's a very important piece moving forward. Talking about our legislative priorities, we are working with some of the delegation members to try and work on the 210 speed cameras. That's something that, again, we would have wanted to gotten in earlier with the legislation. So we may have to do some things like go to the actual Secretary of Transportation or some others to get this done. So, but we are working on it. So we will give you updates, as Leslie has said. And again, please look at our weekly updates. And I know you guys are giving us feedback, and we love that, right? It shows that you are reading them. So we will continue to do that. But that's number one of our priorities, the speed cameras on 210. The bottle bill, there's been a lot of interest from different municipalities about the bottle bill and that what it could bring in terms of revenue, et cetera. There are different pushback from different, I guess I would say, the manufacturers and others, the way that the bill works. I'll try to put together some type of synopsis of the different opponents and proponents of the bill, so you can see and some of the things that I hear from the manufacturing side of this and how it works. So devil's always in the details, right? And what I'm learning with the bottle bill is definitely devil's in the details, and I'll try to put together that schematic for everyone so you can follow along and see just how it works, okay? And the other thing that's a major concern, but we are feeling good about Senator Muse going back after the match that was supposed to go back for this session for the Boys and Girls Club, the other 450,000. So he is committed to going back to get the other 450,000 for the Boys and Girls Club for Forest Heights.
Thank you, Leslie and Jonathan. Another question I have is related to public safety. I heard there's a bill that's being sponsored this year. Actually, there's two. One bill is related to tags and to people who are generating speed or ticket violations in Maryland, but their vehicles are registered in Virginia or another state. Could you tell me about that bill and its progress, what it looks like currently in the chambers?
Well, they did have a hearing, was that yesterday, Senator Corey McCray. There was, I guess mainly the pushback was from, for some reason, the state's attorneys, Association of States Attorneys, because there was a provision in there that they are concerned about, but there was overwhelming support. We spoke to some of the judiciary members. So again, it could be an opportunity there, but it is moving along, that bill. And they had a great hearing yesterday.
Second item is there's another bill that is talking about changing some of the situations where law enforcement can initiate a traffic stop. I believe litter, an out tag, light, or expired registration. There was a couple areas. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and some of the other items in the bill, and if it's looking like it'll proceed or if it's facing headwinds?
Yeah, so this is a reintroduction. It was introduced last year, but there was a lot of pushback, especially from municipalities because of the listed items. But we do think that this bill does have a chance this year because the sponsor made sure to speak with the Attorney General's office early on. They had about 3 amendments to the bill, which the bill sponsor is going to accept. There is some pushback from a few committee members. They think this is going to make policing a bit more difficult. So it is possibly going to still be up for debate, but it made it out of the House last year. So it does have some traction.
Could you tell us more about what's the sponsor's intention? What do they feel like the problem is that they're solving? And has anyone raised any problems that might be caused, unintended consequences or effects from that law?
Yeah, so this actually comes from a bit of a personal matter. This bill sponsor had an issue where he was stopped, and he just in his testimony he explains how it was an uncomfortable situation. He was with his kids, his wife. So what they're highlighting is the racial disparities we see in these traffic stops. Oftentimes, the things that are listed, just cause more trouble for certain minority groups, especially Black and Hispanic people. So that is what they're mainly focusing on. The Attorney General's office, they also mentioned that these traffic stops can also cause police deaths to increase. There's been a lot of police that have been hit on the side of the road when they're making these stops. So that is also something that they're looking to combat with this bill.
Thank you. Any questions from council for Mr. Carpenter or Ms. Felice? Councilmember Brownson.
Yeah, I have a question, a couple of questions. You mentioned that some programs are not being run successfully and they may be cut. Can you give an example of some of them that may have been mentioned?
Yes, so it's a bit hard. It's honestly been a few agencies. We've seen it Department of Health, Department of IT. So for example, Department of IT, they have funding that should go out for contracts. But the contracts, we're not seeing the results from those contracts that they have. So that's really the big issue that they're seeing. Also, there was a recent issue with, I believe, SNAP, that there were some delays going on there that seem to have been instructed by the agency or someone at the agency. But these things are still being investigated as well. So I don't want to speak on something that we're not too sure yet.
And I have another question. I think I remember reading in your email to us that the Blueprint for Education, Department of Education, if they have volunteers in low-performing schools, the volunteers might be able to get a tax credit. Is that something that I misunderstood or is coming down the pike?
We can follow up with that, because I know for a fact they talk about innovation and ways of getting, I guess, extra help in the schools because there is still a lack of teachers.
Right.
And again, having kids, we know that is a fact. So those are some of the things that they're looking at. So we'll give you a list of the things that they might be looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And one other thing I wanted to bring up, this may be of importance to the municipality. There also was a bill that was heard, Senator Brooks, dealing with the automated cameras in the residential districts. That is going to go statewide for streets or roads that have 35-mile-per-hour zones within residential districts. That would allow you to put speed cameras up within those districts. And that would kick in if the penalty would be if you're over at 12 miles over the speed limit, over that 35, then that's when a ticket would kick in. That bill passed the House last year. So they started over in the Senate this year and there was no opponents at the hearing yesterday. So it has a great chance of passing.
Well, thank you so much for the presentation. We look forward to hearing more as the session progresses. Also, let us know if there's any items that we should consider coming to Annapolis to support or to oppose. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we will move into council member and mayor reports. We'll begin in Ward 1 with Councilmember McDonald.
Good evening, everyone. Healthy Heights for Seniors meeting went well on January the 17th. Our next meeting is scheduled for February the 21st at noon, where we hope to have more discussion and to propose a plan for rollout. January the 29th at 9 a.m. in our partnership with Potomac River Keepers, there'll be a planning meeting for the Oxon Cove Earth Day cleanup, which will be on April the 25th. And then there will be a meeting on early February, to discuss the upcoming Community Garden 2026 season. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Ward 2. We'll start with Councilmember Brownson.
I just want to mention that we're having the Finance and Ways and Means Committee meeting this Saturday, starting at 10. The Finance Committee meeting is at 10. The Ways and Means Committee meeting is at 11 here in the municipal building. But I did have a question. I noticed that the gathering space, I saw people down there using the electricity to charge their phones and stuff. Is that available? Do they have outlets there where people can use the electricity there?
Mr. Jackson.
So there's an outlet that the town uses to supply the Christmas tree lighting for the last several years, and that outlet has been exposed. So during this past Christmas tree lighting, Councilmember Kennedy provided some options for me to purchase. We can try to cover that up. I haven't found a good solution yet, but we are working to cover that outlet up with a padlock and some sort of cover to make it, I mean, they can just break the cover, but to at least have some resistance to them using that outlet over there.
Okay, yeah, I just saw somebody down there charging the phones and sit down on the laptop. I'm like, okay, stealing electricity, huh? Another question is, the finance people on, I can't tell. Anybody from finance? So we got our, report, last week. So I want to ask Todd or Mr. I saw on there that in the disbursement that the, police department, all of them, had a salary increase. Is that right on the report? Anybody there?
Mr. Frankenfield. Yeah, he's online.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I'm sorry?
Yes, that is accurate.
So did the town council approve an increase for the police department?
Yeah, we talked about it I want to say last meeting, and Mayor or TA helped me with the dates. But yeah,
We didn't do a resolution to pass that.
so are you? Okay, so we're talking about, it was shared in the budget book that we were going to reallocate about 25,000 from police repairs to police salaries. And that was all inside the police appropriation, which was voted on and adopted. So yeah, we definitely shared the information. I don't know that we had the legislative requirement to get approval for the raises.
Well, according to the charter, any increase in salaries need a council approval.
Okay, well, that's a good flag. I think we'll probably have to adjust the legislation then.
So right now, that is a violation of the charter to have an increase for salaries. So, because it seems to me that I can see the police department, adjusting their salaries, but giving them a increase needs charter approval, needs council approval.
Well, thank you, Councilmember Brownson, and thank you, Todd, for what you added. So we discussed it at 2 meetings, and I disagree, but I can understand how you may feel that way.
No, it's not a feeling. It is
And
a charter
I'm not willing
requirement.
to be talked over.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
a feeling.
thank you for raising the point. We discussed it in several meetings and with the council. One of the meetings we discussed it at, you weren't present. And so thank you for the comment and for the question.
And I think that's all I have as far as my report, but there is not a feeling, it is a charter requirement. Do I have anything else? I think that's all I have for my report. See you all on Saturday.
Question, since we have the weather emergency where we're expecting several inches of snow, as low as 6 inches and potentially double digits of snow, do we need to consider making an adjustment for committee meetings potentially in case we're not able to come to the building or the building is shut down or it's unsafe for people who attend the meeting to come in person? Or do we need to think about a hybrid option potentially? Just a moment. I'm going to let Mr. Jackson answer since he's worked on the snow plan.
Mr. Mayor, from the reports that I've received so far, snow isn't set to begin until late in the evening, perhaps after 8 p.m. And these meetings are at 10 and 11, so I don't believe so.
Okay, so it's looking like it's supposed to start at night, so we don't expect it. But if we need to, we can just pay attention to the weather pattern. If the weather starts before, we may need to consider a hybrid option. Is that correct?
I can certainly create a Zoom link in the event that on the day of, if circumstances are different, folks can just log in online.
Thank you. Councilmember Brownson.
I think this clerk has already done that. She's created a Zoom meeting link for the meetings.
Oh, thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, does that conclude your report, Councilmember Brownson? Thank you.
Yes, that.
Next, we'll go to Councilmember Kennedy in Ward 2.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
I'm sorry, we didn't get that. Could you say that one more time?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Ward 3, but we don't have our Ward 3 council members with us tonight. And so next we'll go to Mayor's report. Okay, here are updates for January 21st. I was able to attend a growth plan support meeting from, my apologies. The town identified an opportunity to apply for support from the county around the effects of potential increases in population. This would be a growth plan, which we would get support from the Prince George's County Planning Department. As you may remember, we had a presentation from them last year, and they listened to some of our needs, and they also shared some of the resources they provide. So this is a separate effort from strategic planning. It's focused more so on the increase in population that we may experience as the National View development comes online in the next few years. We have a resolution on the agenda tonight for the council to consider regarding this application. The Strategic Planning Commission will have their first meeting on Thursday, January the 29th. This will be their first meeting as they begin coming together to look at the town's priorities and to help include community input in the strategic planning process that will happen this year. After the commission meets, in upcoming meetings, they'll make some recommendations to council for consultants to help us with the strategic planning process. And that meeting will be here at 6:30 in the town hall on January 29th. Next, I attended a meeting with the Prince George's Parks and Recreation Department. They have a Formula 2040 plan, and they were collecting input from some of the mayors in Prince George's County. They asked about our parks and some of the areas that we either have good feedback or areas we think we may need growth or improvements in the future. So we were able to share that we need some improvements to the trail behind Forest Heights Elementary, as well as some of the fencing and other infrastructure that's behind Bell Acres Park. They let us know that as they continue gathering feedback, they're going to come back to get more input from the community as the form is put together. We hope to be able to invite them to a town meeting as well. I actually wasn't aware of a 2040 plan until we got that information from them. On Thursday, February the 11th, we will have a veterans benefits consultation. That's actually going to be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with an hour break during the middle of the day from 12 to 1. This is going to be an opportunity for veterans and their families to receive on-the-spot assistance and information about available benefits and resources right here in the town hall. There's no appointment required, so between that 9 to 5 window with the hour break at noon, you'll be able to speak with someone directly and get assistance with making a claim, updating it, adding more information, or finding out other resources you can connect to if you are a veteran or have a family member who is. And that's part of programming from District 8 that Councilmember Burrows has extended to local communities and our municipality. And this is going to be hosted in collaboration with the Veterans Commission. On February the 18th, we're going to host a National View community meeting here in the town hall. It's going to begin at 6 p.m. and this will be held prior to our regular town meeting, which will start at 8 p.m. During that meeting, residents and community members can come to get some project updates, to see the finalized detailed site plan, and also to ask some questions and get answers to some of the things that are proposed, at least as part of the National View mixed use development that's proposed to come to Forest Heights in the coming years. The Let's Drive Safer stop sign citations as part of our Let's Drive Safer traffic safety program in the town. Those citations will start being issued with fines on February the 12th. The 30-day period of warnings only runs from January 12th to February 12th. What residents should know is that the town's studies show that there are more than 3,800 violations per day during some of the pilot studies at 11 intersections around Forest Heights. Similar towns have seen as high as 70% reduction in the violations after implementing this program. And citations are $40, and the proceeds go towards public safety and traffic safety initiatives. And I'll just mention that these emails are going out. There's information on the signboards and other areas, but Chief Ruffin and I have talked about traffic enforcement in the community, and earlier tonight I asked some questions about registration and tags and ways that we can proactively prevent dangerous vehicles and drivers from causing incidents on the roadway. I'll also just point to another story, which is a prime example of some of the challenges that we face. Last night, a resident who was speeding down one of the streets in town, they ended up colliding with my neighbor's car and the vehicle that was in my driveway because they were driving so fast and recklessly through the town. And that is a situation that we're fortunate it happened late at night, because during the day could have affected a family, multiple individuals could have been hurt. Luckily, no individuals were in the cars that were struck at the time. But in a residential town of our size, with a speed limit as low as it is, there's no reason that if anyone ever strikes a vehicle, that they should be causing damage, should be going over curves, should be impacting property that's outside of the roadway. But that's an example of what we face sometimes. And so this program has been implemented specifically to help drive down the incidents of unsafe driving in Forest Heights, to protect families, to protect children, and to protect the property of those residents who live in town. And so as part of the Let's Drive Safer stop sign program, there is an online portal where residents and people who receive citations can visit the website and see incidences of some of the dangerous driving that's happening. And we want to remind you, stopping at stop signs is not optional, and neither is driving the speed limit. The last bullet says proceeds go toward, it should say public safety, traffic safety. It's designed to help the town respond to some of the dangers that are identified and make it safer. Given the snowstorm that we're expecting based on forecasts, there's just some reminders for preparation ahead of this weekend. We're expecting at least 6 to 9 inches of snow starting Saturday. We just want to remind residents to stock up on essential food items and batteries and other things that will let you have illumination in case of power outages. We want to remind you also to park your cars on the side of the street with lighting so plows can see vehicles and then get through easily to clear the roadways. And we also want to remind you to shovel sidewalks promptly so any pedestrians who need to get through the town by sidewalks can do so safely. We have an election coming up in Forest Heights. Election day will be Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. It'll be here at the town building. The polls will be open from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. And the filing deadline for those who are interested in filing to run for office for one of the council seats in wards 1, 2, and 3, the filing deadline is February 4th. You can contact the town clerk for more information on the certificate of nomination. And also you can contact the town clerk if you were trying to vote and you need an absentee ballot or any other accommodations for voting. And lastly, I will host a coffee with the mayor here in the town hall in a few weeks on Saturday, February the 7th. That'll be here from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. here in the town building. And this will be an opportunity to informally talk with residents about your concerns, but also your ideas, ways that you would like to get involved in what's going on in Forest Heights. And it's also going to be an opportunity to move. We'll have a local coffee vendor here so you can get coffee, but we're going to also have what we call Soul Cafe vibes. So if you'd like to dance or talk with your neighbors, this is an opportunity to come together as a community and to talk informally about all that we're planning to do here and how we can continue to get better. All right, that concludes my report. Next, we will move into public period. Public period is an opportunity for residents and other members of the public to address the mayor and council. You can state your name and you'll be given 2 minutes to answer or ask a question. If we can answer the question today, we will. And if we cannot, we'll have an appropriate department head or official answer the question, usually within 72 hours. Is there anyone who wishes to speak during public period at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'll say let's go once, go twice. Hearing none. Public period is now closed. Next, we will move into legislation for action. First item we have is Resolution 3-26. This is a resolution of the town of Forest Heights establishing and expanding school zones and authorizing automated speed enforcement on Maryland 210 and Livingston Road. I move that we adopt Resolution 03-26. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 03-26. Discussion. This resolution is coming forth as the town seeks to install additional speed cameras in some areas that were annexed recently. In this corridor, there are 2 schools within a half mile of the proposed area of the speed cameras, Oxon Hill Elementary and St. Columba Catholic School. This resolution is something that the council requested in order to strengthen the lobbying that Greenville is doing to have these cameras successfully implemented into the town to improve safety and to further our Vision Zero goals along the 210 and Livingston Road corridor. Are there any questions for Resolution 03-26? Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember McDonald,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we move to the next resolution, we had another item that was not on the agenda that we wanted to consider adding so it can be read publicly and in its entirety. Are we needing to amend the agenda to add that, or are we still working on getting a resolution number for the item?
If I may ask,
I'm going to ask Mr. Jackson.
The resolution has been prepared and it was emailed to you, so it's ready for a number.
Okay, so just as we go through the next few items, we can we'll continue to move through. We have one item for discussion. So what we can do is as we get closer, we'll just maybe take some time to let the numbering happen. You can let me know. I have it on file to read in its entirety. And we'll entertain a motion to amend once we get closer to the end of items under action. All right, next we have Resolution 04-26. This is a resolution of the mayor and town council of the town of Forest Heights, authorizing the town administrator to expend grant funds received from the Chesapeake Bay Trust, acknowledging an approved grant extension, approving expenditures by category, and authorizing additional stormwater educational sessions in coordination with the Prince George's County Department of the Environment. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 04-26?
Second.
Is there a main motion to adopt?
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 4-26. Oh. I make a motion that we adopt resolution 4-26.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 04-26. Discussion. This is a resolution that is extending the period whereby a grant that was awarded last year in the amount of $20,000 by the Chesapeake Bay Trust can be expended by the town. Questions? Councilmember Brownson.
I'm trying to see why we need a resolution for the town administrator to spend money from the grant. This resolution is not an extension of the grant. It's for a person to spend money of the grant. So I don't know what's the purpose of this resolution.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Brownson. Mr. Jackson, the resolution has an extension for time. Is that correct? For the time that the grant can be administered, for lack of a better term.
So the time is indicated in the resolution, but the main purpose of the resolution is because we're spending more than $10,000 in one session. And any dollar amount that's over 5,000 would need council approval. So since we have to spend so much money in such a short period of time, it's going to be over that charter required threshold.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Now, if it was previously accepted, even if it's in excess of 5,000, then it's approved by council. However, if it is, it sounds like you're doing this, it sounds like it's in a posture of caution. Is that just for awareness? and caution.
That is correct, and we have to spend about $20,000 in 2 weeks for it.
Okay. Councilmember Brownson, I'll go back to you.
Yeah,
To Councilmember McDonald.
But it doesn't mean that we have to spend over $10,000 in one spending. So even if you're spending 18,000 in 30 days, you're not spending anything, buying anything over $5,000 at once, are you?
Well, I may not, but it would depend on the cost of the trees that we're purchasing and the vendor. We may have to. Let's say we need 20 trees. I know that there are trees that we need to replace along Sachem. And depending on the genre of tree and the number of trees we have to buy, it may be $10,000. Now, of course, we could perhaps buy half of that and come back at the next day and buy the other half, but why do that when we can have a resolution granting the town administrator?
Well, I have a continuation on that.
Just one moment. I just need a point of clarification on one item. Mr. Frankenfield, the funds that are appropriated for this grant, were they included in a category of spend for this year's budget, for this fiscal year budget?
Let me look up the budget and I'll give you an answer.
Okay, the reason I asked that question is because if they, the funds were approved and they were in the budget and we accepted the agreement, the outline of how the grant was going to be spent, it contains guardrails and guidelines. And so we may have already crossed that threshold. So he can give us the answer to that if it's been included. Then we've crossed the threshold and those funds are approved and allocated properly. Councilmember Brownson.
I'm trying, so it sounds like what you just said kind of explains it. It's already been allocated how much is going to be spent on what. So there's nothing in here that says, $10,000 on trees, or it says native trees, 8,400. So that's in the grant already. So I don't know why we need a resolution authorizing you to spend $10,000 on something that doesn't satisfy what the grant calls for. I mean, it's just not necessary to me, because the amount that needs to be spent on each item has already been granted, funded, and approved. So to me, it's not necessary to have a resolution allowing you to spend $10,000 on something, because it's already outlined how it should be spent already.
Councilmember Brownson, it seems like you agree that what's being requested can be done. And so if that's correct, let me ask an additional question, which is, if the other item we need to do is to, it's not for you actually. So I just wanted to make that statement. Does that sound correct?
What was it?
It sounds like you agree, you support what the grant did and the activities. Mr. Jackson, is there something else like time-wise that we need to do?
Spend before February 1st, that's it.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be extended. It's the same scope of work. You just need to do it very quickly. And you wanted us to know, and you wanted it to be transparent. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, with that being said, Councilmember Brownson, it sounds like you may have a hesitation with voting for the resolution, even though it sounds like you may have a hesitation with voting.
I just
in
think
the
it's not
affirmative.
necessary. It's not, we don't need a resolution for him to spend what's already been granted and
Okay.
approved.
So let's do this. Let's do this. Councilmember McDonald who has a question, and I think I have maybe an idea that will help us to move forward and get the same result on this.
I just want to ask a question. Is this the grant that we requested an extension to?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure where I see the $10,000 and I don't see the $10,000.
The sum of the items that the town has to purchase between now and February 1st.
Is that in the, is that not in the agreement? What is the amount
No,
in the agreement?
the amount that,
18.5 is in the agreement, right?
that's correct. And had we perhaps made a schedule throughout 2025, we would have probably slowly purchased those items to draw down on that grant.
So, so by February 1st, we need to have done these items listed: stormwater education, materials, rain barrels, rain garden demonstration components, in an amount not to exceed $4,450. That's what the resolution says at the bottom. I'm just trying to get clarity.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, so we have the grant was extended already, correct? So we don't need to do anything with the grant extension. And the funds are already in the budget. They were appropriated. They can be spent. Let's just do this. We'll do a voice vote. The members of the chamber who were currently in attendance tonight, we will make a simple motion to allow the town administrator to expend these funds as the prior grant, as the original grant agreement outlined, without passing the resolution. He already has the authority to do so. Does that sound correct?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Deloach, yes.
Good evening, everyone. We just have a couple questions on this issue. Have we expended funds under this? Is this the first time we've been expending funds under this grant?
Mr. Jackson.
This will be the first time.
Okay. And the grant document, the agreement does not require a resolution. It doesn't say that there needs to be official council action to use the funds.
There was a resolution passed in May of last year.
In May of last year for the entire funding.
Yes, and the town has received the funding.
But there's no requirement that no further resolution. There's nothing in the document, meaning the grant, that requires everything to be done by official action by the mayor and council.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because sometimes you do have to do that by resolution based on the grant documents. Okay, it has to be official written action taken by the mayor and council. If that's absent, then we don't need to do it this time.
Correct.
You've done it already. You've approved the funding. I just wanted to make sure that there was not some other reason why we would have to do it this way, or if we did do prior expenditures that we remain consistent. If we've done it by resolution before, then we should do it again. But this is the first time, according to Mr. Jackson. I just wanted to make sure that that was on the record and there was clarification on that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deloach. It sounds like we're all saying the same things. And so with that being the case, we have a motion on the floor to adopt the resolution. I move to table the resolution indefinitely. I move that we table resolution 04-26. We have a motion on the floor to adopt, so we need to decide if we're going to dispense with it. And it sounds like we're going to dispense with it. So I move that we table the resolution indefinitely.
Hold on a second, please.
There's a motion on the floor though, so we have to.
Y'all just discussed the heck out of it amongst everybody else.
Just a moment, Councilmember Kennedy. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to adopt, so we need a motion to dispose of the resolution. If it's tabled indefinitely, it won't come back unless it's introduced, so it dies. We can lay this resolution on the table.
Motion on the floor.
It's to table it indefinitely.
I second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded that we table indefinitely resolution 04-26. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? Councilmember Kennedy, because we have 4 members in the chamber or 4 members online totally today, I need to get a voice vote. Did you vote aye or nay? Is he still online? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we have lost the quorum. We're going to take a brief recess while we try to get Councilmember Kennedy back in the room. The time is now 8:55, and this meeting is recessed.